As we speak, the city of Las Vegas is fighting a long, expensive battle and using your money to do it. It's over the former Badlands golf course.
Well, 13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears first teed up this story last year. Now she shows us how that property near Summerlin is a wasteland, and the people that you could thank for that safety hazard are the same people spending your money.
At first glance, it looks like a haven for joggers, dog walkers, skaters, and bike riders. But in reality, it's dangerous terrain, pockmarked by 20-foot drops, patrolled by packs of coyotes, bookended by dark drainage tunnels populated by the homeless. It's also a hotbed for drug use.
Friday, Saturday nights are the worst.
Property manager Don Richards has cameras watching over things.
The last year, it's been disturbing to develop the pictures at night.
Because those pictures sometimes show young girls.
Anywhere from the age of 12 to 18 years old, some by themselves, some paired up with other ladies, coming on site at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and going into those two 12-foot box culverts.
There's only one way in and one way out.
What they do and for the time frames that they're in there and the amount of activity in and out is very, very disturbing.
There's danger, too.
We've captured people with weapons.
This guy.
He was of a concern because he was in a full military garb with a military backpack. He had something on his belt buckle.
And this man, who's been photographed on site many times.
I have photographs of them drawing the weapon and then aiming it.
The guy with the gun has been captured staging in 2 different areas with 2 different types of weapons. When he was here, he had a long gun that he was aiming toward the opening of the tunnel. Recent pictures were turned over to Metro and detectives are now investigating, but attorney Elizabeth Ham says the place will never be safe as long as it's in limbo.
We certainly don't want anyone to be injured, and we certainly don't want the liability for it, but our hands are tied, and the city has tied our hands.
Developer Johan Lowy owns the land, which is zoned for residential development, but some Queensridge homeowners want it preserved as open space, and the city has taken on that fight.
You know, the people here really are owed the open space.
Homeowner Roger Wagner bases his claim in part on this.
That the land formerly known as the Badlands Golf Course is the agreed upon, approved, documented, required by the city open space and recreational area for this part of the city of Las Vegas.
That was former City Councilman Steve Soroka on cell phone video at a Queensridge Homeowner Association meeting, but Soroka was wrong. Badlands is not a city park, it's private property. Although the city has been fighting Lowy's rights, denying all his building permit applications and clawing back the zoning, causing court battles that are holding the land hostage.
So at this point, the city has essentially taken the land.
Lowy's lawyer says the city has also hamstrung even the most basic security in the form of a perimeter fence. When this fence that used to be along Alta and Wallapai became damaged, the city put the developer on notice, saying fix it or tear it down. He submitted plans to not only fix it, but make it better. Those plans included developing the rest of the property, however, and the city rejected that, so the fence was taken out.
When you take that down, you're inviting people in, and he should be doing something about it, like hiring security guards out here and making sure people don't come on his property. He spent a lot of money posting signs.
Speaking of money, the legal clash has cost close to $2 million so far, and the city is now dipping into taxpayer coffers to pay $500 per hour lawyers. Records show 15 separate agreements with outside law firms funded by public money over this 250-acre private parcel.
No, I'm sorry that it got to this point.
City Councilwoman Victoria Seaman recently replaced Steve Soroka in Ward 2.
I ran to become elected to resolve the issues. When something's in litigation, and I can't talk about the litigation, there's no end to it. And so my goal was to get this resolved.
Even so, she and her fellow council members voted just last week to authorize another $100,000 tax dollars to pay another outside lawyer.
It wasn't until after I left that they started farming all the work out to outside firms, which is a sign that the city is pretty sure they're going to lose the case.
Former Ward 2 Councilman Bob Beers says the city's decision to fight the residential zoning of Badlands was a bad decision with no basis in law, a battle backed by a handful of wealthy homeowners.
Politics can be driven by money, and in this case, it very much was. This open space is private property. It's open space because the potential other uses for it were stolen, were taken from the government, by the government, from the owner.
Beers says Badlands will continue to be a wasteland.
Vacant land is the worst thing a city can have in it.
As long as its fate flutters in the wind. Neighboring residents and city leaders say they're hoping the landowner will compromise and work with the community to find a solution all can live with. One solution could be the city spending millions more tax dollars to buy Badlands. Darcy Spears, 13 investigates.
Yeah, Darcy just keeps on covering what's happening there.
She is.
A lot of problems,
Big problems.
All right, still.